Welcome to this bonus episode of Living Wow Out Loud. This initial bonus series is going to be a reading of the book, 8 Lessons Lupus Taught Me from Surviving to Thriving with Autoimmune Disease. I've chosen to include this as a bonus because it really is the foundation that led to Change Your Story. It then led to the website Rise to Shine, and eventually morphed into Living Wow as we know it today. And so, in order for those of you who may not be readers or have chosen the podcast platform, I want you to also have access to the book. And because I have all the rights to all my material, I'm able to upload it here for you as a bonus episode. So I'm going to break it into chapters to make it more digestible. And you will see, I will label all of these as bonus episodes, 8 Lessons Lupus Taught Me from Surviving to Thriving with Autoimmune Diseases, and then the chapter. So enjoy. I hope you get something of value out of these bonus episodes. Lesson 8. All you need is unconditional love. I've always been a caregiver type of personality. Maybe I get that from my mom. I've always been one that can relate to people and have a genuine empathy. My experience with autoimmune disease has given me a different understanding of compassion. I feel like I understand more than I did before of how important unconditional love is. I now see that there was some selfishness in love because I got validation out of caring for people. I got validation from my patients. It makes you feel good to help people and be a facilitator of improving their quality of life. At home, I often had a reciprocal love from my family. I do something for you, you love me. You do something for me, I love you. It, of course, wasn't intentional. I never thought that. I never felt conditional. However, as I learned these lessons and did some deep dives into self-reflection, I recognized that I was guilty of building walls and holding hostages. The autoimmune diseases made my weaknesses glaringly apparent to me. I initially was very angry and felt betrayed by my body. I hadn't abused my body. Why did it let me down? Why did it turn on itself? Why was it attacking innocent organs that were vital to its survival? I couldn't understand why I deserved this. At some point in this journey, I realized that my weaknesses were not only physical, but they were emotional as well. I can't really pinpoint one event or particular aha moment that this lesson occurred, but rather a series of reflection, personal development, and spiritual growth that has made it clear to me. Even now, as I reflect on how to articulate this lesson, it is difficult for me. Maybe because it's the most personal. Maybe because it's the most important. Maybe because I'm still refining. As I reflect, I think I first learned this lesson very close to home in my marriage. My husband and I come from different family structures and backgrounds. I am the youngest of 4 children, raised on a farm by both of my parents across the state from my extended family. My husband is the older of 2 children, raised in a small city by his mom with a great deal of involvement from his maternal grandparents. His dad was involved in his life on summers and holidays. His sister was born when he was 10 and grew up with her father in the home until he was in junior high school. He joined the military after graduating from high school when I went off to college. That is where our worlds intersected. We were 2 people from completely different backgrounds who accidentally fell in love out of friendship and decided it would be a good idea to get married. Very similar to the physical pain and stress of my 20s and 30s, I put that same emotional pain and stress on my marriage. Not intentionally. In fact, I was quite well intentioned with my crusade to fix my husband. I wanted to make up for all of the areas he felt neglected or abandoned. I wanted to make up for all of his inadequacies or insecurities. The only problem was that in doing so, I completely disregarded his role as the patriarch of our family, the leader, the father, the provider. I made him feel even more inadequate, insecure, neglected, and abandoned. It was not until our marriage nearly fell apart for the 3rd time that I finally got it. I was the one that needed to be fixed. I was the only thing I could change. I brought my own insecurities, fears, loss, and inadequacies to this equation, and I needed to look inside and identify what I wanted to change in me, not my husband. Of course, the most perfect example of unconditional love come from our Father in heaven and our Savior Jesus Christ. There are 389 references in the scriptures to love as I have loved you. Although I heard it, read it, and knew it, I didn't do it. I realized that I had to start with me. So I took note of all the places I was falling short. Let me tell you, it is humbling and easy to turn into self-punishment when you beat yourself up for all the things you've done to mess up the lives of those you care most about. Fortunately, I continued to be taught this lesson of forgiveness, and not only did it start with me, but I needed to forgive myself. I had to learn to love and accept myself, not just lip service, but truly love myself in spite of my imperfections. This included my body that I was very angry and frustrated by because it had betrayed me. I had to unconditionally love me. That was hard because I didn't really know how. Learning to forgive and love myself as I am, with all of my faults and weaknesses, was the most difficult project I've ever had in my life. It could only be done with the divine love from above. Feeling that acceptance, love, and worthiness came as I remembered who I was born to be. When I remembered that I am a daughter of God and He created a being with potential to be exactly what I needed to be. I was born with the innate character I would need to learn and grow with a body that would physically support me as was needed. My job here was to learn to love me, not resent me or put me down for not being perfect. That is the destination. This is the journey. I came to know that when I am self-deprecating, I am insulting God, discounting His creation, and doubting my potential. Once I finally came to love myself and truly understand what unconditional love meant, I found it easier to follow the commandments found in John 13:34. Quote, "A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another." End of quote. I have probably heard that scripture quoted hundreds of times since I was 3 years old, and I am astonished that it took me so long to really understand it. I cannot change or fix anyone, nor do I need to. That is their journey, your journey, not mine. What I have found as I now look at my life through a different perspective is that I am responsible for how I react to a situation. Am I frustrated because I had an expectation that they were going to do something and they didn't? They probably didn't even know I had that expectation. Am I carrying resentment because of the way I was treated? What did I do to put myself in a situation to be treated that way? What condition did I put on that person that qualified my love for them? If you, then I. When I was truly honest with myself, I found that pattern rampant in my life. Criticism, blame, shame, guilt, complaint, all took the responsibility off me and put it on others. I realize that is not accurate, and it certainly isn't love. I found that when I released criticism, blame, shame, guilt, complaint, and owned my reaction of acceptance, benefit of the doubt, compassion, forgiveness, and compliments, I generally end up with a different end result. It certainly feels more like love. It is different to love individuals where they are at, as they are, and not put my expectations on them. I find people let me down. Their priorities or interests or beliefs aren't necessarily in line with mine. It's not that they are intentionally letting me down. Realistically, they often don't even know my desires or expectations. If I'm building my expectations, I'm having conditional love, even though I don't think I ever intended to have conditional love. I now realize that when you have expectations of someone, and that includes yourself, but your love, empathy, and compassion is not contingent upon that, you don't hold them hostage or guilt them into your path. I am not saying you shouldn't have expectations. I am one for setting a high bar because I believe people will rise to whatever level you expect of them. I am saying that I need to have love for everyone, regardless of expectations. Sometimes I still find myself falling short, but I feel that living with autoimmune diseases has blessed me to understand limitations. When you truly cannot get out of bed, when you truly have chronic pain, when you are angry and frustrated because you feel like your body has let you down, I think having some of those emotions and experiences has given me more gratitude and more selflessness to love others where they are, accept people with whatever limitation they have, and give grace for doing the best you can. Honestly, that is all any of us can do. I'm not perfect, and although I haven't expected other people to be perfect, maybe in their perception it came across that way. I feel like I have a new depth of love and compassion that is more genuine and unconditional than I had prior to my experience with lupus. It's true that you can't take it with you. Stuff, things, expectations don't matter in the end because what you have here is love and your relationships, regardless of your health, your wealth, your priorities. Living with autoimmune diseases taught me to love unconditionally because in the end, that really is all you have. Well, that's it. You've listened to the entire book, 8 Lessons Lupus Taught Me from Surviving to Thriving with Autoimmune Diseases, as I have shared each of the 8 lessons in each chapter of the book. I decided to go ahead and add the closing thoughts on this final day. I went back and forth about whether or not to make it its own episode, but I really feel like it's fine to just add it on here to the 8th lesson. And so here we go with closing thoughts. What I have learned on this journey is that our bodies are amazing and that 2/3 of our life is not tangible. 2/3 of our body's existence and experience is not visible. We must tune in and recognize and maintain our mind and our spirit just as much as our body. My body is my barometer that lets me know how well I am doing at caring for my mind and spirit in addition to my body. I now look at my autoimmune diseases as a blessing. They help me recognize and get my lifestyle choices back into check before I am too out of balance. Daily meditation, prayer, and energy work, along with recognizing and being just aware of what I put in my mind as I am what I put in my mouth, are critical. I now recognize that toxins are not only in our physical environment, but also in our energetic environment and the world that we live in. It is my responsibility to take care of the gift that I have been given in my physical experience and to respect the mind and the spirit as well. I believe that at the end of this life, when my body is spent, that my mind and spirit will live on eternally. I believe that I will take with me all of the adventures, experiences, and lessons that I have learned in this mortal life. This time is so short and so precious. It's not about how long I live, but how well I live. I now have that understanding. I now have a daily routine and practice. I now have transformed and believe that I will live a much longer life. I think back to when I did not expect to live a long life at all, and in fact, did not want to live a long life because I was just surviving. Life was a difficult test that I wanted to be over. My perspective has changed. My life is now a wonderful adventure with many twists and turns, obstacles and opportunities, mountains to climb and vistas to take in. Now that I'm thriving, I hope to live and expect to live well into my hundreds. I'm no longer bound by the standard American lifestyle and the standard American diet and my small life, small thinking. I am guided by my divine nature, by my eternal potential, and an eternal perspective. I am blessed to be thriving with autoimmune diseases. These were important lessons for me to learn, and I hope that they in some way can touch your life or be the insight you were looking for on your journey. Hope, peace, joy, and love were not what I found online when I Googled lupus, but that is what I found in my autoimmune journey. May you have similar findings on your journey. Hey, if you find value here on the Living Wow Out Loud podcast, will you please share it with your friends and take a minute to rate it on the platform that you're listening on? That's how we live wow out loud. You know that more people need hope and they need the messages shared. And that's how we get recognized among all the noise. This is where you find your voice. Will you please share and subscribe and rate so that we can grow? After my personal transformation from surviving to thriving with autoimmune diseases, I was completely astounded that the experience was not what I expected it to be. Instead of resenting my body and being forever trapped with a legacy of bad genes, as I had believed would be my fate, I looked and felt 20 years younger. I had dropped weight that had plagued me for decades, eliminated chronic pain that no doctor, therapy, or medicine could relieve, and found energy that I hadn't had since I was 16 years old. Because this is not what I expected, and because I wish someone would have told me that there is another way than sad, I wrote the book, 8 Lessons Lupus Taught Me from Surviving to Thriving with Autoimmune Diseases. As I began to share the book and the message of change your story, Living Well was born. After years of continuing to learn and study how and why lifestyle has such an impact on disease and the world being torn apart by a global pandemic, I can't stand by any longer keeping it to myself. You have to understand that the power is in your hands. The power is in your body. The power is in your lifestyle. The Living Wow Center is a holistic wellness practice that utilizes the framework of the Living Wow lifestyle to identify system failures or maintenance needs. Whether you just need a tune-up or a complete systems overhaul, we support you as an individual to get back out on the journey and living wow. We will work with you to determine levels of function, needs, tools, resources, and/or providers that may be best equipped to guide you as you step out of the negative health cycle and turn it into a positive health cycle. The Living Wow Center offers a revolutionary, comprehensive approach to healing, coaching, and support that is necessary in our complex, sad world. Schedule your complimentary consultation today to see how Living Wow can support you. I'm super excited to announce Supercharge for you. We are changing the name of the Living Wow Challenge to more clearly represent the monthly support program where you take Living Wow for a 10-day spin. I know 10 days doesn't seem like much, but it is. And that's why it's now Supercharge. Living Wow Supercharge is a 10-day supported focus on eating a clean, nutritionally dense diet with intention as you jumpstart into the Living Wow lifestyle. You will feel lighter, more energetic, and empowered with your nutrition. You will experience the power of nutritional healing with less pain, more energy, and a better mood. The Supercharge includes a comprehensive 10-day seasonal menu, recipes, videos, quick start guides, and links to resources. You begin with a prep, then daily support, and wrap up with a review. This is the fastest, most immersive way to get started and feel the effects of Living Wow now. Right now, go to livingwowcenter.com. That's livingwowcenter.com to sign up now for the next Supercharge running the 1st to the 10th of the month. Early sign up ensures you a spot and gives you time to complete your preparation assignments as you gear up to Supercharge. Wow, you just finished another episode of Living Wow Out Loud. I hope you leave today empowered to live your best life and thrive. If you're ready to jump in and learn a little bit more about Living Wow, come check out the Living Wow Center. That's livingwowcenter.com. And maybe consider joining our next Living Wow Challenge. We run the 1st to the 10th of every single month. See you soon.